What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I'm your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanchi, and we are here with The Walking Dead Dead City. So, real quick before I even get into this episode, did I say my name? It's your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanchi. um, Before I even get into it, I just want to quickly give the ones who live a little bit of praise here because it was literally last year of me talking on Twitter about the ones who live, and I just felt like I had so much to say about it. I was so inspired by it. It got me back into writing stories, short stories, long stories, writing scripts. It definitely powered and just regenerated a lot of stuff in me that I hadn't even really thought about in 10 years. And another thing too, it got me back on Twitter after like years. I think the last time I was like actively on Twitter maybe was 2017, and then before that 2009, and then I was like sporadically here and there between 2020 and 2022. But um the ones who live got me back on Twitter, and I had talked about it so much and met some people who are like family to me now. Um, Twitter just became too small for me to talk about it, and it was the motivation behind my starting a podcast where I talked about film and TV because I just wanted to yap all day about it. So, quick shout out to The Walking Dead, the ones who live, for inspiring all of this. I'm pretty sure this episode, as of now, this is episode 126. Since I started July 17th of 2024. So that's crazy. That is crazy. But moving into season 2 of The Walking Dead, Dead City. So I missed last week's episode, so I'm trying to recap both episodes 1 and 2 in this podcast episode. I don't want it to be long, but so much has happened between both of these episodes. So I want to recap it as much as I can without necessarily giving away everything. You know, there's some of y'all who be watching this and then you end up wanting to watch the episode or whatever. Um, or you watch the episode and you come here and maybe you talk about things in the comments that I don't mention. This is in no way meant to be the episode all over again. This is just me and my thoughts. So if you're like Dead City fans and this is your first time listening to me, I'm not trying to retell like the whole story play by play. You can go back to AMC Plus to do that. I'm just here to yap, recap it for those who don't have time to watch it and maybe get them intrigued in watching it. And you know, for those of you who do watch it, we can talk about some things in the comments. We could stir it up. You know what I'm saying? So season 2, Dead City. I'm gonna break this up between Maggie and everything that's going on with like Maggie's storyline and where she is, and then Negan. And I'm gonna do episode 1 first. Then we're gonna go into episode 2 where I'm gonna talk about Negan, then Maggie, and then where it all converges and where we end up being left off by the end of episode 2. But like I do with a lot of my series, especially if it's a new series that I'm talking about, I like to give the log line of what the show or the movie is about. I definitely do it for all my movies, but brand new series being introduced to the podcast. So I'm going to give you the log line, give you some important cast and crew information, and then we're going to go into the story. So Maggie and Negan, so 2 characters from the original Walking Dead, find themselves on opposite sides of a war for control of Manhattan. Their paths intertwined in a struggle that reveals the complicated and harrowing reality of their fractured alliance. The genre is horror, supernatural. The director for both of these episodes is Michael Satrazemis. The writer for episode 1 is Eli Jorne. And for episode 2, Zoe Vitale. The director of photography for both episodes is Adam Suschitzky. The composer or music supervisor is Ian Hultquist. The production designer for both of these episodes, Bernardo Trujillo, although I'm pretty sure he probably did the design on the entire season. And the cast, Lauren Cohen, who's Maggie, Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, Logan Kim as Hershel, Gaius Charles as Perlie, Dascha Polanco as Narvaez, Jasmin Walker, who is Charlie Bird, aka the governor of New Babylon, so I will be referring to her as the governor, Zeljko Ivanek as the Croat, and Lisa Emery, the Dama. So we are in New York, concrete jungle full of zombies. So Hershel is back. So at the end of season 1, Maggie ended up trading Negan to get her son back because he was captured by the Croat, right? Now the Croat is a former savior, and when I tell you this man is gonna tell anybody who listens about Negan's glory days, like he will not shut up about it. And a quick stop right here, it really makes me want like more flashbacks or like some side quest as to how Negan was able to get all of the saviors together before he, killed the men, took their wives, all types of other stuff. The way that the Croat talks about him makes it seem like before Negan got really nasty, he may have had noble intentions. I don't know. It's crazy. And I'm gonna be referencing my notes. So for those of you watching, if you see me looking down, it's a lot. Okay. I gotta reference these notes. So young Hirsch is back, and my man's is moody for no reason, just snapping off, being a teenager, and it's so annoying. Like, I thought Carl got on my nerves. Hershel is taking the cake. Even when I was a teenager, I couldn't stand me. I didn't like going out with teens because teenagers are annoying and they get on my nerves. And shout out to you, Logan. You are doing a great job. It's not you, but Hershel on my nerves. Okay. So we're all rallied up and we're all here in New Babylon. Maggie's just worried about herself. She worried about her son. She ain't got nothing to do. She's just trying to survive. When Charlie Bird, aka the governor, and Narvaez, they troops come back and they got somebody tied up running behind the back of this car. So they're like, cool, there's a traitor in our midst. Okay. And I want everybody to rally around because I really need to remind y'all like what we do when people are traitors. And y'all, they hung him right there in the middle of Times Square. Like, they weren't really in Times Square. Y'all know what I'm saying. But they hung him and then left him there and let him turn into a walker. And I did not see season 1 at all. So I'm just kind of like, hold on. So there's like no nobility, no humanity, no trial. We're just like killing people. So already I'm just kind of thrown aback because with the governor, you can just tell, sometimes it's a ploy, but the way the governor comes off is just like she wants to be a fair and just leader. But then Narvaez is right there just itching and scratching to just be froggy at every single turn. And it's like, yes, if you're more of a gentle leader, you want somebody that's going to be willing to, lay the hammer down and really get your points across when maybe you won't necessarily do it yourself. But their pairing seems really weird to me because Narvaez is giving Negan's second in command that then ended up trying to like fight Negan to take over the saviors and he ended up dying. That is what Narvaez, like that is who Narvaez reminds me of. Like it's giving like if she's given the opportunity to um succeed the governor, she is gonna do everything she can and potentially stab people in the back to do so. That's the vibe I'm getting off of like her introduction, like off rip. So at this juncture, New Babylon has been prepping 4 months to go invade Manhattan, right? So they have methane over there. And I guess with everything that's going on in New Babylon, you know, we're getting a lot of like moths and stuff. There are certain things that's happening in the environment where they're like, okay, we need to go over there and we need to get this methane. And so obviously it's not going to be easy. We just can't walk up and be like, oh, can I borrow some methane? Like, no, we already know what it is. Perlie had escaped from there, from the Croat last season. So they already know like this ain't even gonna be no friendly juncture. So we need to just go in here and do what we need to do. Okay. So Perlie is trying to recruit Maggie, and Maggie is like, bruh, I'm trying to live out my days. Like, I don't even understand why y'all are doing this. You keep trying to say like, oh, it can, you know, we can get power and we can get better water. We can do all this other stuff. And she's like, no, you're doing this not for power that generates things. You're doing this for power that fuels the human and fuels the ego. And he's like, okay, well, you know, we got laws and we got treaties and everything like that. She said, okay, then tell them that Negan is alive then. Bet you won't do that. Bet you won't do that. And Perlie is sitting there looking dumb because what are you going to say? But at the end of the day, he's just like, you know what? This is a noble cause. I'm going to stand behind it. I'm going to stand by the governor. And he just got a promotion to colonel. And apparently Narvaez is like a major. But as somebody who understands rank structure, I still don't understand how Narvaez is bossing him around. Like, was this a pity rank, kind of like from Transformers 1 to Transformers 2 when we got these crazy ass step promotions, you know, from technical sergeant to chief, from captain to colonel? Like, what is this? Okay. So Perlie then goes back to the governor and Narvaez and he's like, listen, we need to bring Maggie in on this, right? She knows things. She could be a great asset. And Narvaez don't even like her for real. So Narvaez is like, okay, is she gonna be worth 20 soldiers? Because we need people who can fight. And Perlie's like, well, yeah. She says, okay, cool. Let's prove it. So Maggie like, okay, whatever. I'll beat bitches up for breakfast. And then like, I don't break a sweat. And Narvaez's test is like, no. You're not fighting people. No. And she puts her in this pit with like 30 to 40 walkers. Now, young Jenny, who seems like she had a relationship from what I read about with Negan, but in order for Negan to save her and like keep her safe and get her to go back to New Babylon instead of staying with him and getting caught, he tells her that he killed her parents. Now, at this point, we don't know if this is the truth or not. All we know is that Negan genuinely loves kids. Like, they are his kryptonite. So Jenny, another teenager, she's on this whole like suicide mission. I don't have nothing to lose. And so she goes into the pit too. And so now Maggie is over here worried about her dumbass because she's like, girl, take your hormones, take your feelings, and go sit down. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with you. But, you know, they both in there and they doing the damn thing. Like, Jenny is holding her own and Maggie is doing the damn thing because at the end of the day, Narvaez, okay, you wasn't there. Okay, shooting with her in the gym. You don't even know something. You think you everything with this little gun and with this little belt and this hat and this butcher chopped ass haircut. But like, you don't even know who you messing with and who you stepping to. Anyways, Maggie does what she needs to do, and everybody's just like, okay, whatever. I guess you can come. Like, it is what it is. So at this point, Maggie has already proven like she got what it take. And she's like, okay, I can do what I can for y'all, but this is a stupid fucking idea. And Perlie's like, shh, girl, it's cool. Like, everything's gonna be cool. We got the numbers, we got the people. Like, they don't got nothing on us. Like, they don't got nothing on us, right? So, Maggie's trying to convince Jenny, because she passed the test too. And Maggie's trying to convince Jenny, like, girl, you ain't even gotta do this. And Jenny's like, you're not my mom. And I'm just like, God, please save me from teenagers. Oh my God, they are on my nerves so bad. And in this same episode, Maggie's in there trying to talk to Hershel because they haven't really had no conversation ever since he came back. And he's all like, you're always doing this. You're always trying to go back to him. And she's like, Hershel, what the fuck is your problem? What is your problem? I'm trying to talk to you. Okay. I'm trying to be patient. And you keep giving me attitude. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then she's like, she grabs his drawings, right? Because she peeps some things. And now he's like back on 10. You're going through my stuff? And she's like, what is this? What happened to you there? And who is this lady? And we see the image of the Dama. And he's like, I saw it like on a billboard or whatever. Like, it's nothing. It's nothing. And she is just like begging her son to talk to her. But he ain't giving, he's being a teenager. So she like, listen, we're going to go out, we're going to do some recon. And when I get back, we're about to have a serious conversation about this because whatever you got going on, this is not working. And he keeps like hurling stuff in her face as if she's choosing Negan over him. And again, I did not see season 1, so I don't know if there was any type of conversation where he maybe was fed some lies or fed some things that would make him believe that she is the reason he and her have a fractured relationship. I don't know if, maybe she's always been like, look, Negan killed your daddy. Like, I'm only using him for a means to an end, but we are by no means friends. And he developed a relationship with Negan, and now maybe he doesn't understand like why she can't forgive him and why they can't mend anything. And this is just me guessing, but I really think that whatever happened between Negan and young Hirsch, I think he's just looking for a father figure. And because Negan is so good with kids, I think he developed a genuine love for Negan. And now he's mad at his mama because he don't understand why she's still holding on to a 14, 15, 16-year-old grudge, however old he is in this season. And it's like, bruh, stay out of grown folks' business. Like, if you want to have that relationship, cool. But don't be yelling at your mama just because she's not trying to have this relationship with Negan. Like, but again, teenagers, I have to keep reminding myself, he is a child. And he don't know shit. And so this is what I have to keep telling myself. Meanwhile, Negan is in jail. Okay. And the person who watches him is a young violinist. I mean, he ain't that young, but he's younger than me probably. By the name of Victor, who plays music and everything so that I guess Negan's stay is not like the worst. And you can really see like a fondness from Negan that you really only see him reserve for kids or people that he feels has like a youthful disposition. And I can say that Victor, he got a full beard and everything, and he's on guard or whatever. But there's something about him that is that softens Negan a little bit, okay? And I think it was revealed at the end of season 1, but everybody's looking at Croat as this big bag antagonist at the end of season 1. But then you find out that he is working for the Dama, okay? And she is ruling shit in her orthopedic kitten heels, baby, like a chunky kitten heel. Ma'am, if you're gonna be evil, get a boot or something. Get something cunty. Like, I'm sorry, you're not finna be bossing me around in no fucking stockings and church pumps. No, girl. Anyways, so he is getting interrogated about Hershel and, you know, that whole relationship and everything that we saw from season 1. But, you know, Negan done been captured, I don't know how many times. He himself has captured people. So that's just really not like a person that's really easy to break. So just like on the other side, when I was talking about Maggie and them prepping to go into Manhattan, the Croat and them already know that New Babylon is coming. So at the start of season 2, we are really getting both sides of this whole situation for an impending war that's about to happen from, you know, mainland versus like the island and everything. So the Dama, you really get to see, especially in episode 2 as well, which we'll get there. I'm almost done with episode 1. The Dama reminds me, I like, as the antagonist, I don't necessarily want to compare her to too many other antagonists within the Walking Dead universe, but I would say she's closest to the season 2, season 3 governor than anybody, as far as that false pretense of like, I just want everybody to get along. But the difference between her and the OG governor is that he was absolutely batshit crazy. And she has an intelligence level with hers that reminds me of Alpha from season 9, season 10, I think, of The Walking Dead. Like, she's very, very intelligent. But she's just like, oh, I want to bring everybody together and join our war because, you know, I just want all of us to get along and, you know, we're better in numbers. But she absolutely will do that shit with violence. But the way that she presents herself is very maternal, maybe not maternal, like a matriarch, just like ahead of things. And presents in a way that I don't think she is hiding not well. She's definitely not hiding like her intentions with the people that's closest to her, but she uses the Croat to do everything so that you don't really see her hands getting dirty in a lot of things, which is why in season 1, it was just the Croat. Everybody's thinking like, okay, it's just Negan's old crony that's doing this. And then you find out like, no, there's somebody else pulling the strings. Even when they're all in a room together, she's normally like, she'll speak and she's like, oh, I want us to like do all the things. And then she'll sit back and reserve and like observe. And then other people are committing the acts of violence. So if you're smart, you peep her game. But if you aren't really paying attention, you're only going to look at the villain in front of you. And she's more like a web, right? It's like Charlotte's Web. It's like Moghedian in The Wheel of Time. Like, she is really out here orchestrating everything, but it lures you into a false sense of security whenever you're in her presence because you assume that you can be granted mercy when she's the least merciful of all of them. Like, mercy does not serve her like her bottom line, right? So they all get together and the factions and everything comes together. You know, it's the leaders of the factions plus like all their people. One of the girls, I love this so much, she called Negan a bitch, but they got Negan up here with his scrawny little legs and his new decked out Lucille that the Croat was so happy to give to him. And again, he just really like obsessed and fetishizes like Negan's reign. It's insane. And so Negan is there at this point. You kind of gotta like resign to doing whatever it is that they say to save your own ass. So Negan has such a gift of gab. He's a great performer on stage. Now, I didn't know that Dead City was a comedy though, because why the fuck did they have an organ player in this church playing music before this speech started? I'm sitting here watching it thinking like, okay, it's just the composition, within the scene or whatever. No, they had a real organ player. I said, bro, this lady is so diabolical and so theatrical. And then also, Negan, why do you keep getting kidnapped by women? Like, are they like are the women your real kryptonite? Or you just aren't smarter than them? Like, what is up? So I thought this church scene was very, 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 very comical. So Negan's up there, he's doing the things, he's performing. This lady's like, bitch, shut up. And he's like, I might be a bitch, right? But we all need to join together. So somebody named Christos gets up and he's like, you scrawny old man and your bet. And you, lady, okay, we not working with y'all. We don't like y'all. We love minding our business and leaving well enough alone. Whatever the fuck you got going on, that ain't got nothing to do with us. And so at this point, what Negan was generally there for wasn't necessarily about the speech. They want to use Negan again, the same way that Dama's using the Croat. She has the Croat using Negan to, if you can't persuade, then you will use acts of violence to get them to do our bidding. And they had equipped the bat with methane. So then when Christos came over, Negan hit this button and it like let out, I don't know if it was like a fire. It looked more like a taser, like a zap, some type of electrocution that knocks him out. So it didn't kill him, but it was enough to send a message, right? And at this point, they're like, so there's more where that came from. And if you don't want to die, then you will join our team. And so by the end of episode 1, it's really just like a montage of everybody getting ready for war. And we end up finding out in episode 2, and I'm only going to say this now because it's really not that important in episode 2, but I think the other leader, he immediately joined with all his people, but I think Christos is still like, fuck that lady. Because in episode 2, she said something like, we didn't get, the Croat was like, oh, this is great or whatever. And she was like, well, we didn't get both of them or something like that. Christos is still, sitting on his ass or whatever. And I respect that. I need to see more Christos. I need to see more Christos in this season. I already like him and I only met him once, okay? Now, in episode 2, man, Negan I don't think I've ever seen Negan look so remorseful in my life. I've seen him look regretful in the original season. More specifically, I think I'm personally thinking about the times where he was having conversations with Carl over the walkie-talkie. And just that whole relationship in and of itself, it seemed like he regretted the way that they met. And, like, I'm sorry, kid, I love you so much, but me and your daddy are already knee deep into this war. So like one of us got to die. Like it is what it is. But in this, it's like he wishes that he was never the Negan that people know in the first place. Like every which way he turns, the Croat is telling tales. I mean, to Victor, to anybody. Yes. And then he would just put you out there and he would just have people beat you to death and he fed you to walkers. Hurrah, hurrah. And Negan looked like he wants to crawl into a black hole. He wants something to open up in the universe and suck his ass into the void. Like, this is the type of look that he's giving. And also, like, shout out to you, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because, like, Negan is such a grand character. Such a grand character. And I was definitely curious as to how this whole redemption arc, for lack of a better phrase, was going to work and how they were going to write it. But while I am a fan of villains being villains without backstory, without room for redemption, like, just let them be evil, and I'm really hoping that the Dama is just fucking evil, because I like her. Okay, we'll get more into that with my thoughts at the end, but I like her, right? Since The Walking Dead decided to go this route with Negan, I've accepted that this is the route that they took. Okay, I don't work in their writer's room. I'm not their showrunner. Who knows, one day. But watching it play out, I think a lot of fans thought it would be like, oh, Maggie, why are y'all making Maggie forgive him? Don't make them a couple. All of these things, right? And people say a lot of shit without ever watching it. And then when the content is out there for people to consume and come up with their own thoughts and ideas, they still don't consume it. They just go on TikTok, retweets, and have like super shit takes, right? Watching it with my own two eyes, I don't know. Now, I didn't see season one. So I'm being very clear about that. But based on these episodes, I don't know that I get that Maggie forgave him. Like I said during the episode 1 where I talked about earlier, that I feel like Negan is a means to an end. And I think her killing him, we kind of are past the threshold of his death mattering, right? When Rick slit his throat underneath the oak tree, that's where he should have died. Then when he said, save him, that's where Maggie should have killed him. When he was in jail and Maggie was all mad and everything at Rick and Michonne said, okay, here's the key, go kill him. You should have killed him. I think we've kind of run the course of her killing him. Like, at this point, I kind of do see a little bit where Hershel is coming from, where it's just like, well, he's not dead, he's still alive. So shit, or get off the pot. Like, do something. And I think the best route for Maggie to maybe get through this so that she doesn't fracture her relationship with her son is to be indifferent to Negan. The fact that she still has feelings and still has like a hate kind of shows where she's been emotionally this entire time. And I'm not necessarily saying let that go. Like, why would you, like you close your eyes, you got nightmares about how your husband's face was bashed in right in front of you, his eyeballs popping out. Like, that ain't nothing. Like, you will never forget that. And Hershel wasn't even born, so he doesn't even understand what that is like for her. And her only connection to her dead husband is through her child, who is so hot and cold. But at this point, I think indifference can help her navigate this, right? My thoughts about Maggie in relation to Negan. But going back to Negan and his remorse and him seemingly not wanting to be involved with this at all, but kind of having to, I think a Negan death would have to be of his own doing. Okay. And I just don't see where it would serve the narrative for Maggie to kill Negan. But I can see that in order to release Maggie from her anger towards him it would have to be some type of self-sacrifice. I don't see him taking his own life, but I see in the future of him choosing to keep her and Hershel alive in a life or death situation where there's only one of them can live. You know what I mean? But if we go forward and they're still alive and we still making shows and Negan is still alive, it would be an interesting dynamic, yeah, to say the least. So the Dama, she keeps Negan by her side. So at this point, she's kind of treating him like keep your friends close, enemies closer type of thing. So she lets him in on her inner thoughts and everything. And the Croat is so giddy because he's like, oh my God, we just got a signal. Like, they're coming and we're going to be so ready. Like, what do you think? And Negan is just sitting there like, what? And the Dama's like, yeah, like, what do you think about our plan? Is there anything else that we can do? I would love a feedback. I'm open to suggestions. I actually listen very well. I'm a great listener. And so Negan like, okay, well, all right, whatever. The shit y'all got is cute, but like, that's really not going to stop them. Like, if you want to deter them, you're going to have to make this big. So he's giving great war advice. I'm not even gonna hold you. He's giving great war advice, but he is just detached from it. It's like reading a book about himself and he doesn't recognize that person anymore. But he tells them, look, we can get real creative and we can make some shit blow up. And this will not only send a message to them, but anybody who's not choosing to be on your side at the end of it. And the Dama's like, no, this is our side. Negan, you're part of this. And Negan's like, okay, girl, our side. So anyways, sure, I guess I'm a help. Like, cool. Back in Maggie's side, so Narvaez and Perlie and the governor are in the little strategy room when the governor starts talking about like a plan, you know, in case stuff pops off. And Perlie's like, y'all didn't tell me about any of this. What do you mean if something pops off? Like, we just come in there to like do some negotiations or whatever. Like, we gonna have a few, like, we're not even gonna bring in a whole bunch of people. Like, what do you mean? And Narvaez is like, bro, we don't tell you everything, bro. Calm down. And that's what makes me even wonder about his position. He outranks her, yet she literally suns him at every moment. I don't get it. Maggie pulls up in a tent and Narvaez is like, girl, you are a regular ass civilian. Get the hell out. But she grabs Perlie and she's like, you don't think they know you coming? The fuck? And Perlie's like, listen, we got the numbers. We can do this thing. They know that they might know that we will come. They know that we're not coming tonight. And she's like, you literally told the Croat who we are, where we are, how many people we got, all of the information, bro. They are ready. They don't need to know the immediate time and hour. They are ready and they are going to be prepared. Even if they don't know we coming tonight, best believe they have sentries and Avengers looking out and scouting, right? So she's like, we need to stop this. Like, we need to stop this. And he's like, no, we're gonna power forward. But, you know, if I'm gonna tell them to change their thoughts, then you need to go get me proof. Maggie's like, all right, bro, bet. So Maggie goes out and she sees some tires burning, and she already like, I fucking told them. When Hersh shows up and she's like, boy, are you crazy or are you nuts? And he's like, Mom, listen, I've been practicing my warfighting skills. Like, I really want to be by your side. We were separated. And she's like, listen, I'm going to hide you and I'm going to do best we can. And I'm going to make sure that you stay out the way. But when we get back, you're grounded. Okay. And at that moment, Narvaez's little soldiers come up and snatch them up. And she's like, oh, you were trying to desert. Maggie like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? Ain't nobody trying to desert. And Perlie actually steps in and he's like, I sent her to scout to get us proof. And Maggie's like, yes. And they've already sent the signal. So when I told you that they knew, and you told me to go find out that they knew, I'm telling you right now that they knew. But Narvaez is like, listen, we're not going to be taking no advice from you. I don't know who you think you are, but you know what? I got something for you. We finna lock you up, right? And if you keep on with this insubordination, I'm gonna hang you and your son. So Maggie hauls off, punch her in the face. And so she's just tacking on like all of these crimes. And I am just like, ugh, ugh. Like your ego. I don't even understand how it fits underneath this fucking hat because it is so big. So Maggie's like, so they're all locked up underneath this ferry, which even Maggie was like, so do you want to just send them a flare and tell them that we're coming since we're arriving on a loud fucking boat? And Perlie doesn't stick up for them. She got the proof that you wanted and you still was like, oh, let's go with the plan. So when they was locked up in a room, her and Hershel was locked up in a room, she said, what the fuck you even have me here for? You're not listening. So why am I here? Why am I here? We're literally walking into a trap. And Perlie's just doubling down on everything. So Maggie's like, you know what? Leave me and my son being handcuffed in peace. Get the fuck out. So he's back up top. Him, the governor, and Narvaez are on the ferry. And, you know, they at the front. Benjamin, the historian that they have, is on the side or whatever. And so Perlie is just walking around the ship. The city of Manhattan comes into view or whatever. A lot of them have never seen it. So, you know, they're a little bit, you know, awestruck or whatever. And Perlie is looking into the waters and he sees like all these buoys around. And he sees some things like strapped to it when the boat hits one of the buoys and a bomb goes off. Yes, 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 yes. The buoys are literal traps. They sent this stuff out way ahead in advance and they're getting hit left and right. So Maggie's down in the room and this one girl comes into the room and Maggie's like, let us out. And she leaves them there. At this juncture and in this moment, I want Maggie and her son, if they make it back to New Babylon, to pack up and leave. Go find a farm somewhere, set it up the way my man's set up that whole city in The Walking Dead. I forgot his name. Oh my God. How did I forget his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He was the one beating everybody ass with a stick. Set the farm up with a whole bunch of booby traps for both humans and for walkers and just live out your days because they are panicking. And we already see with all of this war and soldiers and these ranks and these guns and, you know, all of these other things that y'all get to do. It's the fact that y'all have been so comfortable and so safe that makes you very dangerous to the people around you because when shit is popping off, you panic and you leave. Jenny is the one who gets Maggie and Hershel out of it. And Hershel is in there having a whole like emotional breakdown. Boy, snap. Now is not the time. This boat is getting hit left and right. So they get out and she's just trying to get up on top while the governor is trying to anchor them to keep them from moving so that they don't hit other buoys. But that was the plan because now that you stopped, you are a sitting duck. And what's happening, y'all? I ain't gonna even hold you. This gotta be one of Negan's best ideas. They put methane gas into walkers, taped their mouths shut, painted their faces with things that are flammable, put them in cannons, and launched them. Walker cannonballs so that they blew up on impact. So now, if you move, you're getting hit. But you're sitting there and it's just walkers flying all over the place. And the Croat is so giddy. He's having so much fun. And honestly, Negan is looking at Victor and Victor is like, awestruck, right? Like, so sweet, but like, you only know your side of the things. And so far, you've been safe. Nobody's ever hurt you. So it's like, oh, this is cool. We get to fight our enemies, and I'm at the front lines. I'm just a violinist. Like, nothing like this ever happens in my life. And Negan is kind of like impressed a little bit. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. This was a great idea. When he looks through his binoculars and he sees Maggie and Hershel trying to get off the ferry and into the like the lifeboat, and he waits, and the Croat is looking at him, and Victor's like, are you gonna give the signal again? And he doesn't say anything, and then he gives the signal, and the Croat just kind of looks at him and walks off. And Negan already know, like, this is about to be some shit, right? So we end up going to the church again. It's daytime. And the Goonies found the historian, Benjamin, right? He got washed up ashore. And he's like, listen, I just was riding in the car with them. Like, I don't fight. I don't know how to shoot a gun. I have a pen and a notebook, girl. Here you go. Like, spare me. And so they're like, do you want to kill him? She's like, no, he's good for now. Might need him later. And he's relieved, but I'm just like, sir, y'all, nobody listens to the words that come out of this lady's mouth. You are still the enemy, young man. I don't understand why you're sighing in relief. She literally just said, I'm going to keep you alive for now. These are the operative words, right? But she got her a bottle of champagne. How? Where did we get champagne from? Okay. And she's like, oh my God, wait, before we celebrate, Negan, is there a reason that you weren't throwing these walkers out back to back to back to back to back? Like, why did we hesitate? Negan looked at the Croat, and he got the nerve to look away. Oh no, you snitching ass fool. Don't look away now. Look me in my eyes as I sit through this betrayal. So just then, Victor walks into the room. Negan already like, oh, hell no. So Victor comes up and she's like, hey, I heard you playing the violin. Like, it is so important that we keep like history and the classics alive. Like, look, we just caught a historian. He writes things down. And you've been playing the violin for Negan, and you've actually been able to crack his soul a little bit. Like, that's crazy. Play something for us. And he proceeds to play Bach. And at the beginning of this episode, he told a story about what Bach means to him. And so this is like such a foreshadowing, I thought was done really well to open up the episode with Victor telling a story to Negan, a very personal story about Bach and what that means to him and how it saved him, to playing this beautiful piece, even though the mood in the room is telling you that this is not going to end well at all. So Negan jumps up and the people grab him, and the Croat already had his bet, right? And he's like, it was a kid. Like, I didn't want to hurt a kid. I was just waiting for a kid to get off the boat. Doesn't give Hershel's name, doesn't give an identity or anything like that, but he's trying his best. And the Dama's like, a kid, huh? Interesting. And so Victor finishes playing his piece, and she goes on and gives this monologue. And, Victor looks a little proud, and he's, staring at Negan, and Negan is sending signals in his eyes to like, just look at me, just look at me, just look at me. And it was really giving from when Boyd was looking at Mama Chen, and he's like, just look at me, just look at me, just look at me. I know. Like, it really gave a little bit of that, because the last thing that Victor saw is Negan's face when she stabs him in the neck with Benjamin's pen and slits his throat right in front of them. She tucked that pen back in young Benjamin's pocket and was like, champagne, anyone? So the end of this episode, Negan is just gut wrenched. Benjamin's like, glad it wasn't me. The Croat is feeling a little bit proud because the Dama kisses him on his forehead and she's like, you did so great, my sweet. But when he finally shares a real look with Negan, he had the nerve to look regretful, and Negan looked like, when I get the moment, I'm going to fucking kill you. And on the other side of things, they all washed up. New Babs is washed up. And Narvaez is looking scared. Man, I thought you were tough. She looks like she is one wind blow away from a panic attack right now. And Maggie's the only one that's just like prepping her weapons. Like, you know, Jenny, she out there, she got a gun. A teenager with a gun, not good. But Hershel is out there tending to everybody's wounds. Like, these are the real fighters who can come out of this situation and they're like prepping and they're ready to go. Maggie's like, we need to find somewhere to hold up. They still making their rounds because they know some of us escaped. And everybody that's a part of this whole new Babylon, oh, I'm tough. Y'all out there, you know, playing gladiators with walkers and all this other stuff. And, you know, you acting all big and bad. And now every single one of y'all are sitting over here fucking useless. You got 2 teenagers and a mother over here trying to rally everybody. And then here go Perlie. Yeah, she's right, guys. Like, yeah, we should listen to her. She's been right about everything. Shut up, Perlie. Shut up. Okay? So there's that. The Walking Dead, Dead City, seasons 2, episodes 1 and 2. Like, literally when episode 2 ended, that's all I could think was, shut up. Shut up. Shut it. Okay. I believe that this was a great season opener. I'm intrigued. And I also feel like I didn't need to watch season 1 to like figure out what's going on. I did Google like certain relationships, like Negan Hershel. Where did Maggie and Negan kind of leave off, so that I knew like the content of what was happening at the beginning of season 2. I will say some clips that I saw of season 1 looked very video game-ish. I don't know. Some of the clips I saw, I was like, is this green screen? Like, what? Visually, some of the clips that I saw, it didn't look good at all. But in season 2, it's giving like cinematic. So visually, I like what it looks like. Love the production design on this. So far, the stories between episodes 1 and 2, I know what's going on. I see what's happening. I see an antagonist in season 2. And, you know, it's going to be fun kind of going down this route because in everybody else's mind, Negan is still an enemy. They don't have the information that Negan is actually an op for the Dama. So there's just a lot of things that goes on in post-apocalyptic shows, and you got 2 people on the other side where you don't have the information, and so you're just going in blind. So I'm definitely curious if Maggie, when they get to Negan, if she will pause long enough to recognize that maybe Negan is on their side. As of now, I don't see Negan converting to the Dama. I don't think that there's anything that they can do or say that's going to convert him at all. The only way that they can really do it is if they capture Hershel. But I think that with the death of Victor right in front of Negan, I think he can tap into his old diabolical self enough to risk Hershel being harmed, or to at least risk the bluff that he doesn't care about Hershel being harmed. in order to throw the Dama off long enough to sever her head. That's where I see this season going. Haven't seen any of the other episodes yet. I love when it turns out that I'm right. We gonna find out, because the look that he had at the end of episode 2, it really gave like, okay, you keep talking about old Negan, I'm about to show you old Negan. And the Croat knows this. But his head is so far up the Dama's vagine that I don't think he's even going to pay too much attention to the danger that Negan now poses to him. I think he thinks he's protected by her, but I think that when Negan pops off and actually fights against them from the inside out, she will absolutely sacrifice the Croat to save her own life. Everything that I just said is not even the thoughts that I wrote down. I just thought about that as I was talking. Some of the thoughts that I wrote down, where are we at? Okay, this is really just about like character stuff, and I'm gonna just bring up the ones that I didn't talk about, because I already talked about like the Croat looking remorseful, and I just talked about what I think like Negan is going to do. But I want to talk about Narvaez. Narvaez and Perlie are so annoying. She is on a power trip and he is so naive. Oh my goodness. I do not like them. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't like them at all. I like the characters that I like. I like Christos. Poor Victor, liked him, but you know, in The Walking Dead, don't ever get close to anybody because they will be ripped away from you. Who else do I like? Okay, I like Christos. I like the Dama. I like how her character is being played. I like that she's very in your face about being evil, but she's able to have like this veil up to a lot of people where she gets to, you know, throw rocks and hide her hands, or, you know, she kills in the privacy of the people that she trusts the most, but she keeps a lot of the mass killings to everybody else. I think it's a great strategy. It's a great blackmail strategy, and it's a great manipulation tactic to control a lot of people, and I love that in her. I love her as a villain. Yeah, everybody else I just met, I don't like Jenny and Hershel. It really has nothing to do with their characters so much as that they're teenagers, and they are insufferable, so that's no fault of their own. They just are acting like teenagers. Maggie still annoys me. Maggie has always gotten on my nerves. Like, I love that Maggie is with the shits. And Narvaez and all of New Babylon that went out there, they're seeing, like, you ain't messing with no regular person. You not. And I'm going to always give Maggie all of her tens, because she, ever since we met her, even when she was terrified and all the walkers swarmed that farm, Maggie knows how to continue to move forward after tragedy. Her sister dying, her daddy dying, her husband dying. Like, she knows, like, I have to move forward. Even though how she processes her emotions get on my nerves. That's really my issue with Maggie. It's how she runs a lot of things through the filter, the way that they come out. It's like peak, like, if I say what I want to say, it's okay. She knows how to move forward. She is resilient, but something about the way that she continues to act gives me like victimhood. Like, she acts like a victim and just kind of whiny and kind of weak. And it's just like, if you don't walk about like being this warrior or anything like that, then act like it. But whenever she's acting tough, it feels fake. I just don't know what Maggie's identity is, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't understand her. After all of these years, I don't understand her. I understand Carol. I understand Michonne. I understood Rosita. I cannot stand Tara's ass, but I understood Tara. Maggie as a character is so all over the place. Like, I don't know what Maggie's default is. And then the default that we keep getting is like, woe is me. Like, it's not even about the crying and the fighting and all these other things. Like, I just cannot pinpoint her dominant personality trait. And so just as much as Hershel is all over the place, that's what Maggie gave. Like, she gave it in The Walking Dead, right? When she was running a hilltop and everything like that. It's like, okay, you out here like trying to be a badass, but then like you then contradict yourself. Like, I don't know, it's just a lot. I don't understand. I don't understand Maggie as a character, and I really want to like her. Yeah, I want to like her. I know all of her qualities. I know she a badass. You know, women leading in action. It's a lot of women leading in action, and even now in action movies, a lot coming out this year. But I just don't get her. And like, hate Carol all you want or love her or whatever, but like, she stands on business. Like, I understand her. I can see who she is as a person, and you can either choose to like her or not. But Maggie is just very wishy-washy. Like, I don't know. There's just nothing concrete. I hope I explained that right. If you love Maggie, good for you. I'm simply saying I don't understand her. But yeah, that's episode 1 and 2. I look forward to talking about this every week and seeing what's up. And I'm going to end my yapping there. Didn't realize I would get that excited about this. But yeah, as always, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave comments in the comments box below. And if you got people that only want to listen, go ahead, share that Spotify and the Apple Podcast link. You can find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I post all film and TV news and updates, things that I don't talk about on the podcast. And speaking of things that I don't talk about on the podcast, you can also follow me on TikTok at Kivanchi, where I do more short form content. Some are strictly reviews, some are episodic, and those are things that I don't talk about on the podcast either. But you can always head over there, jump into the comments, it gets popping. And of course, where a lot of y'all originally found me, you can find me on Twitter at Kivanchi. And with that, I will catch y'all in the next episode.